Nigeria, oh our Nigeria. Ciroma, Coomasie, we celebrate life, we thank God for it. Sometimes in life, one comes across people whom one is at a loss for words on how to present to the public. This is not because there are no words or that you lack them. No, it is mainly because you know them closely enough that you do not want it to look like you are buttering your words. After all, you know them. Take the case of Bala Ciroma, who recently retired as a Deputy Inspector General of Police, DIG. When he was a newly minted police officer in the early 1990s, his house in Suleja was my transit camp on my way to Lagos and back until he tied the nuptial knot with his first wife. And it was a little before that period that I came across two first-class print journalists who mentored me, the late Haji Bilkis Yusuf and Alhaji Dairo Coomasie, who also passed on last week. Bilkis Yusuf, whose death I still mourn, died in a stampede during Hajj in Mina, Saudi Arabia, on 24 September 2015. Back to Bala Ciroma, who retired as one of the finest and most respectable officers ever to wear the uniform of the Nigerian police. In a nation that seeks truth and desires to fight corruption, Ciroma will have long headed its anti-graft agencies. A nation that desires a serious, dignified, above-board, effective and responsive police force will have placed Bala Ciroma in the position to reform it. Even as a fresher in Suleja in the early 90s, he had shown glimpses of what he could do. I recall a night we went to a hangout for the young and the young at heart. We were served plates of pepper soup and bottles of Maltex. I don't know whether there is still Maltex in the market. Anyway, and we sat down to relax while some hot-blooded night crawlers were busy gyrating to music played by a live band. I do not see anything amiss with my civilian naivete, but he, being a trained policeman, told me to stay quiet while he rushed back to the station and shortly returned. There are some guys I am suspecting, he told me discreetly, nodding towards some gung-ho looking youths about our age in their 30s. There was no communication sophistication like we have now, so he rushed out and returned with some mufti-wearing policemen, rounded up those suspects and took them back to the station for interrogation. It's no wonder he turned into a shrewd crack detective, becoming Deputy Commissioner of Police in the Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department, CID of the FCT Police Command. Earlier, he was Assistant Commissioner of Police, CID, Kano State Command, and Head of Operations in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Among many, he investigated high-profile cases, like when 7 policemen were killed on Monday, 2nd July 2018, at the Galadima roundabout in Abuja. He also investigated the case of Mariam Sanda, the girl who killed her husband, and her mother, Maimuna Aliyu. As earlier said, a little before this time, I came into contact with 2 great journalistic minds, Dairo Coomasie and Bilkis Yusuf. I came to know them because then I was based in Zaria publishing a newspaper, The Pointer. I used to take complimentary copies to them and some other people, including Dr. Bala Usman in Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, ABU Zaria. Through my visits to Bilkis Yusuf at her Citizen magazine office close to India in Kaduna, I came into contact with other journalists working under her, including Mahmoud Jega, Tawe Zakka, Adamu, Mohamed Haruna, and Mohamed Bomay. She facilitated my invitation to the 7th Islamic Summit hosted by the Organization of the Islamic Conference, OIC, now Organization of Islamic Cooperation, still OIC, held in Abuja in 1991, where I met with the late General Sheikh Musa Yaradua and late Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi, two soft-spoken gentlemen. Yaradua, we discussed the issue of printing newspapers in his publishing company, while with Gumi, it was like a question and answer session. Dairo Coomasie, whom today's staff happily addressed as editor, was then editor of Today newspaper with his office at number 1 Liberia Road, Malali, Kaduna. We became friends too, and I made sure I always took complimentary copies to him. Dairo was a good man with a strong spirit. At infancy, an injection went wrong and left him lame on one leg. He graduated with a degree in sociology from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in 1977. After his NYC, he joined the university as a researcher at the Center of Nigerian Cultural Studies. He was also the treasurer of the ABU branch of ASU. Ever the compassionate and intellectual, he resigned his appointment in 1985 and moved back to Katsina to take care of their aged father. After their father died in 1989, he took up an appointment with Today Communications Limited, publishers of Today, Abuja Miro, and Ayau newspapers. He was editor of Today from 1990 to 2000, after which he became the company's MD and editor-in-chief. He was also the general secretary of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. In mid-1991, I decided to return home, that's Borno, as publishing had become difficult to sustain. Even in that era of copy and paste, where newspaper columns in between gutters were measured on the strength of over matter and under matter, unlike now, when everything is done on a computer screen, newspaper publishing was capital intensive. The first edition of my newspaper, published in 1990 by the Nation House Publishing Company belonging to the late General Musa Yaradua, cost about 3,300 naira for 1,000 copies. Bilkis Yusuf facilitated the seed money when she gave me a note to Alhaji Bashir Tofa. You'll understand the value of 3,000 naira when considering that a brand new Peugeot 504 was 7,000 naira and a new Mercedes-Benz 200 was 24,000 naira a few years earlier. After publishing a few editions, sometimes traveling as far as Lagos in search of cheaper printers, I called it quits and turned my attention towards home. The question of surviving at home came up, and Madam Dairo Coomasie gave me an appointment as a Borno State Today newspaper reporter on a salary of 750 naira per month. Yes, it's not a mistake. 750 naira per month. That's 9,000 naira per annum. With this money, I started thinking of marriage. And a few months later, when Yobe was created, I came down to Yobe as today's reporter, and the woman I eventually married caught my attention. Last week, the Fika Emirate turbaned Bala Ciroma as Talban Fika, a well-deserved title for arguably one of the best incorruptible police officers Nigeria has ever produced. As we celebrate a life well spent, our prayers to him are that his remaining life be long and that one day he narrates his story to his grandchildren under the shade of trees in his garden. May the future be more blessed for him than the past. And in faraway Katsina, Dairo Coomasie, from one of Katsina's most prestigious families, was interned. He has joined his father, Ahmadu Coomasie, who First Bank named its headquarters in Abuja after. He has also joined his senior brothers, Abidina Coomasie, publisher of Today, Ayau, Hausa, and Abuja Miro newspapers, Ibrahim Coomasie, former Inspector General of Police, and Saifullah Muntaka Coomasie, a former Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. While we thank God for the life of editor Malam Dahiru, we pray that the souls of all our departed rest in perfect peace. Thank you.